Missouri Tigers escape with a 30-27 win over Vanderbilt here in week 4 to open the SEC slate for Missouri. Much closer than Missouri would have preferred. Your top 10 team, and they have to go into double overtime with Vanderbilt. Still SEC team, a lot to learn from, as Eli Drinkwood said after the game. They're not focused on any other opponents. They got to take a deep look in the mirror and improve over this bye week. Michael, your thoughts on this win here? I almost called it a loss, which I think says a lot.
You can probably call it a loss in some categories. I think a lot of this falls, obviously, we don't need to talk too much about on the offense and Brady Cook, and he was somewhat efficient and didn't turn the ball over, so that's one thing. He had a few that were probably pretty close to being intercepted, but I mean, the name of the game is you have to be able to convert in the red zone, and they had so many opportunities to do so. Great runs from Nate Noel to set them up, big completions, and they couldn't get it done. And I think people are gonna, the fans are probably gonna be upset with Blake Craig's performance. He was 50%, right, 3 for 6, and obviously you want that to be better. But he shouldn't have to attempt 6 field goals, especially under 30 yards. I think that's something to definitely look into. But yeah, the offense was not there. I think to say that Missouri was lucky to walk away with the win today is certainly a statement. Shout out to the defense. They played probably their best game of the year. I mean, really, besides a few plays here and there, they were great. So I think one side of the ball did their job, the other definitely did not.
Yeah, the defense, I mean, they definitely had their drives, especially in the first half. It felt like there was a few drives where Avia was really efficient and really getting whatever he wanted against some Mizzou defense. However, they got the pressure at the right times. They made the plays at right times. I believe Vanderbilt was 4 for 14 on third downs, which was just huge. Now, flip side of that, Mizzou was, I believe, 7 for 17, something like that. Not as just as bad. And this Mizzou offense, it wouldn't have been anything, like you mentioned, Michael. It wouldn't have been anything without Nate Noel. If they don't have Nate Noel in this game, I think we're looking at a very different outcome. Obviously, Luther Burden had some big plays, but it's definitely starting to get to the point where it's like it's not just the concern of is this first few weeks rust? Is this the offense not having full familiarity with whatever concepts they're trying to run? It's week 4, and Brady Cook is still missing his wide receivers. They still are not great at third down, and what was especially clear today was that they can't succeed in the red zone. So there's a lot contributing to that. There's the penalties that were still a massive problem today, and with that, and really everything with this offense specifically, the leash is getting shorter and shorter for this offense to figure it out. Getting the SEC play, they have this bye week coming up, and then they have Texas A&M after that. Michael, to be brief here, let's wrap it up and just, the main thing that needs to get fixed, obviously the offense, but the main thing that this offense needs to figure out before A&M.
I mean, I think Brady Cook just needs to be more accurate, right? Yeah. He has guys, and I don't want to question his decision making, but I think it's pretty evident that there's throws that he's missing, and that some of the sacks he took. I mean, you can't let guys get to the quarterback, but some of those were on him. There was one in the first half where he just let it happen and could have got the ball out sooner and got hit and got dropped for 6-10 yards. It's just not okay. I think he knows that. Obviously, us from the viewing standpoint, we can clearly tell that he's not making the best decisions. There's going to be a ton of media discourse over the next week and a half, 2 weeks about Brady Cook's performance, on whether he should continue to have the keys to the offense. I don't think that should be a question at all. I think we know he's more than capable. He showed the fans and his team and Coach Drinkwitz last year that he is this team's quarterback. He just needs to tighten it up. And like you said, the leash is getting shorter. A performance like this is not going to get down against a Texas A&M, against an Auburn. So yeah, I think he knows he's taking responsibility. He said it, multiple times. He alluded to it after the game today. He knows he has to be better and tighten things up.
Yeah, I mean, as far as the decision making, I mean, the one that comes to mind so clearly is the 3rd and 5, where they're at like about the 15 in overtime, second drive of overtime. On the first drive, he hits Luther Burden on that 25-yard touchdown on the first play. Second drive, it's 3rd and 5, and just a weird throw to Luther Burden, double coverage. He's in the end zone. You don't need to be going for the touchdown there. He explained it post-game. It seems like it wasn't just a spur of the moment, snap of the thumb decision. However, I'm not sure what he was seeing there. There was a few more passes like that today. So yeah, I mean, definitely he has to figure it out. And I, I mean, I point to the penalties really, and because that's the one thing that's such a concern that we haven't seen, from last year. Like you mentioned with Brady, like you mentioned with the rest of the offense. They showed last year they can do it. This is the same group of guys, and if anything, they're adding more guys in there with Joshua Manning, Daniel Blood getting involved. They lose Cody Schrader, but the running game hasn't been a problem at all. Nate Noel had a career day today. So I think the penalties is the one thing where you can point to and say, look, this is a new problem. And week by week, they're obviously recognizing it's an issue. It was an issue against Murray State, but they haven't been able to fix it even after weeks of emphasizing it in practice. So that's definitely going to be something to watch. Like we mentioned, going to A&M after the bye week, we will be there at Kyle Field to bring you all the coverage. So make sure you tune in for that and all of the rest of the coverage we have at Mizzou on SI.